10 points.
6'8", grad student from Lincoln, Missouri, averaging 10 points and 4.3 boards per ball game. He is not dressed. He is out tonight.
Definitely raised some eyebrows when they walked in and saw him not in a uniform.
Yeah, I saw him in sweats and watching the warm-ups, and I went down and talked to the Austin Peay radio guys. They said, I asked them, do you know anything? They said, it's news to us too. So this might have been a late-breaking thing. Maybe he's got an injury. Maybe he's got an illness. Who knows? We won't speculate except to say that's a big piece of the cog in the machinery for Austin Peay.
Well, that's 10 points and 4 rebounds, not playing, not even dressed, as Dean alluded to, as Morehead State with their first possession. Now second possession and 2 fouls early in this one, Dean. Interesting to see. Officials maybe calling this one tight.
Well,
I don't know.
It was Hansel Emanuel that got that one, the junior Dominican. Famous all over the country for having one arm, as you can see. He's a really good on-ball defender. He's a good rebounder, and but he is a little bit prone sometimes to getting his hand caught in the cookie jar.
White, who averages just shy of 12, off on that one, and Austin Peay wasting no time with it as Lax.
Kenny White was matched up on Lax. That's a big size mismatch. Just wouldn't go down for him.
L.J. Thomas with it, leading scorer for Austin Peay, will take the contested jumper over Miles, and an offensive rebound early for the extra opportunity. Thomas won't miss it 2 times, and while speaking of him, let's take a look at our players to watch, presented by Jostens. Jostens, the official recognition partner of the Ohio Valley Conference.
Well, L.J. Thomas is our player to watch for Austin Peay. The junior transferred to Peay after playing his first 2 seasons in North Carolina State. He's made a big splash in Clarksville. He leads the club in scoring, 19.8 points per game. He has 5.3 rebounds per game, also leading the Govs. He hung up a career-high 29 in Peay's upset win at Butler on November 8th. And for Morehead State, I think let's watch senior Dieonte Miles. The Eagles are going to need the big man to elevate his game tonight, especially on the defensive end. That job got a little bit easier seeing that Say Witt's not in the ball game. He's very crafty in the paint, but D is still going to have a nice ball game for Morehead State.
3 versus 3, and Miles swats it away, and that was Haney versus Rugsegger, but Rugsegger on the body's got to be the call, and it is.
Yeah. You almost see the replay right here as Haney was really playing some bully ball against a little bit taller Rugsegger. And Rugsegger got up off the ground, and that cost him a foul.
Let's talk about Morehead's first 3 possessions. They were fouled twice, and, well, the third time it took them more than 10 seconds to get across the midcourt line, so that's obviously an automatic turnover.
And that's one of the things that I got to talk with Jonathan Maddox just a very brief little bit right before the game, and he said, turnovers has got to be a big thing. We've got to get in our sets. Austin Peay will come in. They're very aggressive defensively. You'll see a little half-court, three-quarter court press setting up here. Morehead State worked on that in shoot-around this afternoon, and that's something that they're really watching as far as the coaching staff, how well they execute their game plan against that press.
Brazil with it, a transfer from USC Upstate. Brailsford to Rugsegger and Miles. He was on the team last year that went to the NCAA tournament. Also won an NIT championship. Now two turnovers for Morehead State.
Rugsegger tried to cross over, and he did it right in front of Daniel, and Daniel took care of it.
Lax off on the 3. Back and forth we go. A couple minutes in. Morehead State yet to find any points as Emmanuel almost steals it. It's a long 2-point attempt. And an easy rebound gobbled up for the Governors.
I don't think that was a real bad shot by Brailsford. He had a nice open look.
Contested lay-in. Wow, spinning baseline is L.J. Thomas, and that's going to be a timeout taken by Jonathan Maddox, as he is not pleased with the start early in this one.
Well, that was a really nice move by L.J. Johnson, showing that, and he's got some physicality to him. He's a guard, but he's 6'2", 199. And you can see right here going up against Brailsford, and he just backs him down, and then nice little spin, drop step right into the paint, left Brailsford right there.
Let's take a look at our series history. Series history is presented by Kentucky Tourism. Plan your visit to the Bluegrass State at KentuckyTourism.com. And Dean, we see these two teams evenly matched, but we talked about it pregame. The record in Clarksville, 38 wins for Austin Peay, 19 for Morehead. Here in Morehead, it's 37 wins for the Eagles, 16 wins for the Governors. A crazy close home court advantage.
Yeah, we do this series history all the time, and you go in and start looking at it. I don't know that I can recall another series against another opponent where it's so heavily weighted for the home team.
Absolutely, and I can't think of a sport where you would see something like that, where the overall series pretty similar, but, well, something about the home arena is that one tipped out of bounds, and we'll leave 13 on the shot clock.
Nice job by Quan Lax. He's an NAIA All-American last year, won a national championship with Freed Hardeman, which is down in Tennessee. Lax put up some big numbers last year. He's an NAIA All-American. He's doing some good things in Clarksville.
Well, I don't have to tell you how long it's been since Morehead scored. Well, because they haven't yet. Maybe that'll break the seal, and it won't. Miles, athletic rebound, and does he finish it off? He doesn't.
Good job by Dieonte Miles to go grab that ball off the glass, but you got to finish.
Daniel got the rebound, and on the slash and the easy lay-in is Daniel. Javar Daniel doesn't come in with a whole lot of points and rebounds per game, but right there, a quick rebound and a quick 2 points.
He got caught in Morehead State got caught with a backdoor screen there, and they did not rotate, did not communicate real well.
Brazil will go to the free throw line after he takes a tough tumble to the Johnson Arena floor. Kyle Bottoms on the call. Jason Baker and Chris Fuller alongside him as we get a look on the contact here. It's going to be from behind, it looks like.
Manuel. And Corey Gibson, the head coach for Austin Peay, looked at Emmanuel and he just pointed ahead to the temple like, you got to be smarter than that.
At the line is Brazil, 5'11", 160. Quick, active hands. And we talked about him at the point guard position, and this a good test tonight. And we're going to have a issue with the substitution as Morton will have to go and, well, I guess touch that possession area.
Well, he didn't check in properly. You can't just breeze in and out like a hockey line. You have to check in at the scorer's table.
We've always said that'd be interesting if hockey subs were allowed in basketball.
It would be interesting.
I won't say anything further, but interesting.
It would be interesting.
Haney cleans up the missed free throw as Morehead stayed in the man-to-man defense. They try to work it low post, and Morton will pick up the foul, trying to get around that right shoulder of Haney. We've said Haney's name a few times. Isaac Haney, a senior, played at Northwestern State, out from the Plains, literally West Plains, Missouri.
Started his college career at Missouri State, where Corey Gibson was an assistant coach, followed him, and Gibson got the head coaching job at Northwestern State, and has followed him on up to Clarksville.
Daniel over top of Miles. And 11-1, not a score many people at all predicted in the first almost 4 minutes.
And you see, this is Austin Peay's calling card. They'll come out and smack you in the mouth. They'll get after you defensively. And Morehead State's got to match that energy.
And a turnover as we hit 16 minutes left, and Austin Peay has hit their last 3 consecutive field goals, 2 straight misses there, and a 50-50 ball that hits 3 or 4 players' hands, and Morehead State still searching for a field goal. Brazil finally can get it to Miles, but just getting into the play. 20 on the shot clock. Another attempt, that one way off, and Lax gets the rebound.
Well, right now, Morehead State has got to match the intensity that Austin Peay is bringing on the defensive end for them. Morehead State's got to offensively match that energy and match that effort.
Two-point attempt, according to the official, by Thomas. Doesn't matter either way, and Morehead State, as we've hit a quarter of the way through here in half number 1 in Johnson Arena. Morehead State 0 of 6, 2 of those shots from behind the arc. Miles versus Daniel. Quick double. Interesting to watch and make note of that.
Yeah, they go and get the double to force it out of the post's hands and get it somewhere else.
Morehead State, they'd buy a bucket just about any way possible right now and still can't find one.
Now you see a 5-out set for Austin Peay, and they'll run some flashers through that. See which way they decide to go, as now they go to a 1-4 set.
Shot clock already under 10. Morehead State is going to be called for good defense. It's going to be 5 seconds called. And that will be a turnover, and that'll bring us to a timeout. Let's take a breath as Austin Peay with the hockey sticks leading 11-1. First half here in Morehead.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. It's your job to stock the city. Restaurants and rooftops, bars and basements. Every corner store. And when it gets tough, you stay driven. Give it all you got, going nonstop for 20 stops. Because at the end of the day, every single round is on you. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
Fun fact: the person with McDonald's is always the most popular kid in school. And if they save money with the app, they're also the smartest. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Formula One at its absolute finest. This is Formula One.
Well, if you walked into Johnson Arena, Dean, with about, 16 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, you haven't seen a point scored yet, as both teams over a 2-minute drought. Morehead State is second shy of 2.5 minutes, as it's a lopsided score, but offense, the brakes have been applied.
Well, they have, and the scoring drought for Morehead State, the only point they've got is obviously on a free throw. So they've gone 5 minutes and 42 seconds without a field goal to start this game.
There you are with that math again. I tell you, you've been polishing up. Double-digit lead already, as Morton, who we didn't see in the first few home games for Morehead State, will get the bucket, and he'll go to the line, the George Rogers Clark product.
And that's what Jerome Morton can really do. He's working on his outside shot, but you see it right here. He's so athletic and so quick. Took a little bit of body, but Jerome Morton is also pretty solid himself. Now he's got a chance to polish off the three-point play.
Morton to the line. Again, we mentioned George Rogers Clark for them going, where is that?
Winchester.
That is Winchester, 45 minutes straight west, just before you get to Lexington on Interstate 64. And, well, he won plenty of hardware there in the state championship for basketball. And also, keep in mind, Kentucky does not class basketball, so that's a winner-take-all here in Kentucky. And, well, he got plenty of experience on the Rupp Arena floor, as we have a foul on the Johnson Arena floor. And Dean, I was blocked by 3 people and an official, so I'll have to defer to you and or this replay.
We'll get to see it right here, and just a little bit of a bump. The Morehead State bench erupted, but I can see that being a foul.
I have good vision, but not that good vision.
You don't have the Superman X-ray vision going?
Lax.
Now there's a mismatch there as Daniel is down on Rootsecker, down low with Dieonte Miles up top.
Miles meets him at the apex and says no. The shot clock resets. It shouldn't have. It does go to 20, and a 3 is good by Haney, but timeout. Coach Maddox is not happy because the shot clock reset, and after that, I do not know how much time would have been on the clock, but we will most likely get a replay, and it looks like we will. So
it's interesting because it could be argued that Dieonte Miles, after that block, possessed the basketball. If that is the case, then there's a proper reset. And we'll get to see it again right here. You see Lax go up, blocked by Miles, right there. Does that construe possession?
According to them, they took one look and said, yes, it does, and on we go.
And Jason Baker's over there talking with Johnny Maddox about it. And not sure Johnny's real pleased with how it went out, but he's letting it go.
Either way, we're back underway as the big man Miles with it well outside of where he's normally used to.
That's not what Morehead State needs to see happening. Oh, they missed Miles underneath. He had Daniel posted.
Marshall threads the needle out top for Morehead State. Finds Morton as we have seen multiple new faces in for both teams with 2 on the shot clock. The 3 barely draws iron.
Really good defensive effort that time by Austin Peay on that trip. They just basically didn't give Jerome Morton anywhere to go.
Austin Peay trying to get the basketball for a second attempt, and do we have a jump ball? We do. Good hustle both ways.
Right now, Morehead State getting pounded on the glass. 10-5 edge for, make it 11-5 now for Austin Peay.
Here's a look, and you see the missed shot, and well, like a pinball machine, I think everyone got a hand on it, and it ended up being Daniel and George Marshall.
The two double stack, and they get it to Haney. He wanted a shot, and Morton closed him out pretty good.
Haney again goes left to Lax. Extra pass all the way into the corner. Haney left side, 3, nothing but net. Austin Peay coming out clicking on all cylinders after the trip.
Isaac Haney, they call him Ice. Shoots 45% coming in tonight from three-point range. 2/3 of his field goal attempts are from long range.
Let it fly, and Morton again will take it inside, and the only 2 field goals for Morehead State have been on that left side thanks to Jerome Morton.
Well, the lefty from Winchester is going to try to carry this ball club until they can get some help.
Scott and Marshall in for Morehead State. Morton also off the bench. Carpenter, Brookshire, as Haney has to pass it all the way into the corner. It's the 3 off.
Good job by Morehead State. Team rebounding. Dieonte and Miles led the way, really boxed out very well.
3 of 4 from behind the arc for Austin Peay. And they lead by 11. Rugseger. Another opportunity. He'll try a little further into the corner and find that one. And Morehead State trails by 8, back into single digits, the Austin Peay lead.
Cade Rugseger comes into Morehead State from a really nice NAIA career and comes up to the D1 level. And he's here to shoot the basketball. That's his claim to fame. And he's found it a little bit tough going in early on, but Morehead State really needs him to turn that up.
Haney was feeling it in front of the Morehead bench, short on the 3. Looked like he may have gotten hit on the wrist as he was shaking that wrist running down the court. Either way, Morehead State and Jerome Morton, who leads them in scoring with 5. Into Miles. He'll go to work. Not a friendly bounce, but wow, not who you'd expect, but it's Trent Scott. And a timeout, Austin Peay. Morehead State trims it to a 6-point lead after, well, Morehead State fans thought the Eagles may never score, but a good one here on ESPN+.
When you're the leader in disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! By being prepared for anything! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
If you want to make the most of your vacation, there's no better place than the Bluegrass State. Kentucky's 44 state parks offer abundant places to play and diverse accommodations to stay. Take a hike, float your boat, or bike the trails. Pitch a tent under the stars or settle into a lakefront lodge. Tee up for 18 holes, then enjoy a signature meal. Plan your trip at parks.ky.gov.
Are
you ready to take your money to new heights? Get a flexible high-yield checking account that lets you customize your interest rate so you can keep your finances headed in the right direction. With Elevate Checking from United Fidelity Bank, you're in control of how much you earn. You can raise your rate with a few easy steps. Get more ways to earn more with Elevate Checking and start earning 4.00% APY. Learn more at unitedfidelity.com/elevate or visit your local banking center.
7-0 run for Morehead State, and, well, that is helped by a 2-minute drought for Austin Peay. Dean, have you noticed anything specifically? Obviously, the made shots for Morehead State, but seems like Morehead State getting a little defensive pressure.
Well, and they're playing better on the defensive end. They're rebounding better this last stretch after I noticed that Austin Peay had gotten their 11th rebound. They were leading on that in that category 11-5. Now it's 11-9. Morehead State's done some good work on the offensive glass too, as evidenced by Trent Scott in that last sequence, getting the putback. So I think Morehead State is starting to finally match the intensity that Austin Peay has brought to the floor.
So far, the hot hand. It's Isaac Haney, comes in averaging 14 and 4, and he's already got a quick 8 points as another turnover for Austin Peay, too. And those, well, in rather quick succession after Morehead State, well, they started the game with 3 of their own pretty early.
Well, and that was one of my keys to the game, is who's going to do the turnover battle. Austin Peay, now they're only averaging 10 and change per night, so that's not bad. That's pretty good. Morehead State's a little more than that, just a shade under 13. Again, not terrible, but I think that might be a big key coming down the stretch, as long as Morehead State can keep finding the bucket. They cleared out on the whole left side for Kenny White Jr. He went to work.
And he does finish that work. An interconference transfer, not once but twice. Well, 3 times, I guess. Technically. And it's so interesting as you see more and more transfers. Not bad defense, it didn't appear. Kenny White just doing a nice job with the finish.
Kenny White has a big size advantage. He's 6'7", 8', 9", somewhere in there. They list him at 6'7". And he was going against L.J. Thomas, who's only 6'2".
Emmanuel, stop, turnaround, pop, ripped down by George Marshall.
George Marshall is very athletic. He's not real tall. He's about 6'2", but he's got some good hops, as you saw right there.
You mentioned the last game for Austin Peay at Tennessee. Yes, the Tennessee on Rocky Top. Career high 2 blocks that game for Emmanuel.
Yeah, Tennessee is Tennessee. They're one of the better teams in the country, and they had their way with Austin Peay. But, you know, those games are played for a reason. Morehead State's played a couple of them already.
Morton, make that Marshall rather. Off back iron, and Austin Peay going the other way. While prepping for this game, I saw obviously some of the film, but some of the pictures that I saw that showed some of the upper levels, they had a heck of a crowd there for the Volunteers. I mean, they do not mess around when it comes to basketball, just like football right now.
Good times are to be had on Rocky Top, both in football and basketball.
In and out on the close-up shot by Dawson.
That's a big old gym, too.
Never been in it.
I was in it before. It's basically a carbon copy of what Rupp Arena used to be. And I don't know how much change that Tennessee has done to that gym.
Count the bucket, and Kenny White Jr. flexes and pounds that chest. As the senior, originally from Madisonville, Kentucky, will go to the line.
Kenny White Jr., again, he's listed 6'7", 225. We'll see it right there. He just played some bully ball against just a smaller defender. And he just took Takeo Carpenter right to the rack. Carpenter couldn't help it. The help was a little bit late in coming over. Kenny White Jr.'s got a chance to go make a 3-point play.
Mentioned Jonathan Maddox, spent 9 years on the MSU bench for Morehead State. Helped guide the Eagles to an OVC championship, over 150 wins. Now he is the head man, and by no means were there any disappointed Eagle fans when his name was announced as the head coach.
No, when Preston Spradlin decided to take off and go to James Madison, one of the first people that called about the job was Johnny Maddox, and anybody that's been around this program very much, very comfortable with Jonathan Maddox. Very good defense by Jaden Webb.
Dawson had nowhere to go, finds Haney, who takes it inside, able to get some separation, but the floater's off. Brazil, he'll keep it himself, and he'll go to the line for some free throws when we come back, as Morehead State now on a 12-0 run. If you ordered a pizza, ran outside for a second, well, you missed the Morehead. Eagles come back and cut it to 1 here on ESPN+.
Did you see that? Yep. Looks like rain. Also looks like McDelivery. Order McDelivery in the app.
Nothing feels as good as driving a new Hyundai. And now you can get a great deal on your favorite model at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Plus, every Hyundai is backed by America's Best Warranty. Hurry to the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event before this offer ends. Make your next getaway your best one yet. Lease the Santa Fe for $289 a month or get 1.99% APR for 72 months. Only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
What is sport? It's more than training at dawn and drills after dark. It goes beyond the gym, through city streets, and on to the stage. Sport inspires. It entertains and challenges. So ask yourself, is this sport? Yeah, even that. Sport is everywhere, for everyone. Sport is everything.
Listen up, hockey fans. NHL on ESPN Plus is back. The hardest hits, the dangles, and of course, the semis. You gotta be kidding me! It's not real! Enjoy every second of 1,000+ out-of-market games, exclusive matchups, marquee NHL events, and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
We sent it away quick to break as Morehead State on a 12-0 run, but Dean, it looked like there were some extracurriculars on the way back to the benches. Officials talking it over now. We'll get a look at what occurred.
Yeah, what happened was Brazil, after making the drive, got fouled and ends up in the end zone. That was taking us to a break, and you see the managers for Austin Peay coming out. The huddle's breaking. Okay, fine. Then you see Morehead State over there, and George Marshall said something to say wit, then kind of gave George Marshall a little bit of a shove, and then Brazil started talking. And I'm going to get a little bit of help from our man Kyle Bottoms.
Kyle Bottoms is going to come over, one of the officials, along with Jason Baker and Chris Fuller, as Morehead State on a 12-0 run, trails by just 1. And what Mr. Bottoms have to say?
He said that they went and looked at it to make sure that they weren't missing anything. And you can see Chris Fuller right there. He's talking to Say Witt and trying to calm him down. And Witt's not happy with the way things are going right now. But Kyle just said, they looked at it and really there's nothing there that merits any kind of call.
And by no means am I defending Witt, but he's already got to be a little frustrated because we mentioned he was a late scratch. It even surprised some of the other media people here on press row.
Yeah, Austin Peay's radio crew knew nothing about it.
So after making the trip, he was probably ready to play, ready to roll, and well.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a sickness. Hoping it's not an injury, and he'll be ready to go because he's a really fun player to watch. I didn't really watch much of the Tennessee game, but I watched the Chattanooga game, the replay, and preparing for this. And he's got some sneaky moves, especially for a big man.
Brazil, he is now 8 of 10 on the year from the free throw line as he splits the pair, and we're tied up at 17-17. Not going to lie, I was not expecting when it was 17-4, we'd see 17-17.
Yeah, Morehead State's done a really good job of getting right back into this.
That's beautiful defense, keeping those hands straight up, and the officials will give it to the Eagles.
There was a little contact on the original shot as Jaden Webb gave him but he showed his hands up high and bumped him with his chest. There was just a little bit of contact there. Usually, though, when you show your hands, you won't get the referee's whistle.
We talked about Coach Maddox for Morehead State.
That's not a good pass.
For Austin Peay, who gets the turnover, their coach played at Austin Peay as that 3 off in transition in the corner by Thomas. Graduated in 2004, did Coach Gibson.
He was a good player at Austin Peay. Really had a nice career there, and he's been a really good coach for a long time. There's a clear path to the basket.
Met at the rim, though, not today, says Dawson. Oh, my goodness. And the 3 to cap it off won't fall. Rudseger gets the rebound. Wow, what a block for the Governors. Brazil, he goes in again, blocked again by Austin Peay, and it's Dawson again.
We're going to get Jaden Webb with a foul on the rebounding action. You could have made an argument for a foul on Brazil when he went up for the shot. There was pretty good contact there.
Austin Peay, they haven't scored in over 6 minutes, but, well, I'll just let you take a look. That's the second one.
That's a good no call. I thought there might have been a little bit of contact with Carpenter, but Carpenter went straight up. Yes, there was contact there, but I think that Brazil probably initiated most of it. Carpenter was allowed to go up straight up.
Low scoring affair. Now that, I mean, we are under 7 minutes, 17-17.
Well, Morehead State's shooting 32% from the field, 29% for the Governors. So, and the defenses are both, you know, Austin Peay started out playing great D. Morehead State starting to match that as well. So this may be one of those bump and grind out games.
Thomas, Dean talked about him as a player to watch, averages just shy of 20. Now Carpenter, tough leaner. The drought continues for Austin Peay. That's 9 in a row miss.
And that's good defense by Rudseger. He stayed right there with him, didn't foul, didn't panic, just to force a tough shot.
Rudseger. Morehead State 13-0 run, and well, Morehead State hasn't scored in a couple minutes themselves. Quick extra pass is tipped and stolen. That's Thomas. Little Euro step hesitation, if you will, makes it an easy 2.
2 problems there. The pass was telegraphed, and the receiver did not come meet the pass. And Thomas saw it coming, shot the passing lane, an easy 2 for him.
Inside to Miles, somehow able to corral it. Nice play. He'll go to work with the left hand.
Dieonte Miles has really worked in the offseason all summer long. Last year, he doesn't make that move. 8 times out of 10, it doesn't go. He is so much better this year, and kudos to him because he has worked really, really hard.
Skip pass, Carpenter 3 is off.
And nobody rebounding for Austin Peay. They went to that invert or 5-out offense. No second chances for the Governors.
These 2 teams first met, Dean, on January 11th, 1964, as Brazil sneaks that one over the edge of the rim.
Nice job by Jalen Brazil. Found a little bit of a seam, rubbed off a screen, and then pretty much the seas parted for him.
Scoring not a huge facet of his game, but does come in averaging 7. A couple rebounds as well. Under 5 and no whistle with a lot of contact. Extra opportunity, and that one won't fall.
Austin Peay is now 1 of their last 12 from the field. Check that, last 13.
I was going to say they added an extra, or another one, excuse me. Approaching 4 minutes. Brazil floater there, and Morehead State leads by 4. This is a 19-2 run for the Eagles here in Johnson Arena. Former OVC opponent Austin Peay, now Atlantic Sun. Back in Morehead, where they used to come just about, well, every year for that matter.
Pretty much every year.
In every sport, too.
Oh, yeah. I miss having them in the league. I wish they would come back. Clarksville's a nice city, nice small city.
Haney loses it out of bounds, and you can see Dieonte Miles point Morehead State ball, and that's who it will go to when we come back. 19-2 run. Morehead State trailed 17-4. Now they lead by 4 here in Johnson Arena.
Nothing provides peace of mind like planning and preparation. And just like you do for your family, CenterPoint Energy plans and prepares every day to better serve our shared communities. We continue to invest in the resiliency of our electric grid to bring you the safe and reliable delivery of energy for what matters most.
Yes, I win! See, we didn't need these after all.
He shoots, and he scores!
Founded in 1910 in the Ohio Valley region, German American Bank has been raising the standards in banking and wealth management for over a century. We're big enough to provide the conveniences of modern banking, yet small enough to care about the people and communities we serve. Because we believe that when a community thrives, its people prosper. Strengthening our community since 1910. German American Bank.
Member FDIC.
A 19-2 run. Morehead State leads by 4, and well, sound like I'm a little at a loss for words. This has been just an absolute light switch flipped here in this first half, Dean. I mean, Morehead State, just a complete turnaround, and for Austin Peay, they just can't take the lid off of it right now.
Yeah, they went a stretch from Isaac Haney hit a three-pointer here in the left corner off of a second chance or an offensive rebound at 12:38. They did not score again until L.J. Thomas hit that layup off the steal at the 5:40 mark. That's 6 minutes and 58 seconds of game action. They did not have a layup, did not have a bucket.
It'll be Morehead State basketball as we see Austin Peay going to apply pressure full court.
We'll see if it's a man-to-man or they zone it. They are zoning. It's like a 1-2-2 full court. Here's the press.
They try to trap out of it, and they pass to Ruckseger, opens it up for Morehead State. White will wait for Morton to come and get it.
And that's success for Morehead State. You don't have to get a layup after a press breaker. Just want to get it in the front court and get into your set. That's the win for the Morehead State Eagles.
Brailsford off from the free throw line jumper. Looked like he maybe had a little extra room there to keep penetrating.
He may have, but I have no problem with that 15-foot jumper.
Wax over to Thomas. Thomas with 7. One-armed tip of a rebound falls to Ruckseger. That was Dawson who got a fingertip on it momentarily.
Yeah, Darius Dawson was there, but the ball was just a little bit out of his reach.
6 for Brazil, 5 apiece for White and Morton for Morehead State. Haney with 8 leads all scorers, and he got that 8 early. Ruckseger in some trouble.
Yeah, that's got to be a foul.
It doesn't matter if they blow a whistle, White says, as he'll still finish inside. He's feeling it and trying to get this crowd into it as well.
And good thing that Kenny White Jr. is 6'7", 225, because he needed every bit of that, because that was a really rugged move.
Looked like he may have had a little English as well on the glass to spin that one in.
Nice
Backdoor cut, and wow, just sneaking over the edge of the rim. It's Thomas with the 2.
Well, the penetration broke down the defense. Brailsford got his head turned, and then that allowed the baseline cut.
For a second, I thought he was going to try to hammer that one over top of somebody, but takes the easy 2 as Ruckseger on the other end will push it out to the largest lead for Morehead State at 7.
Cade Ruckseger is now 2 of 3 from behind the arc. Just what the doctor ordered for Morehead State.
24-4 run. Morehead State with the lead now, their largest, like I mentioned, as Emmanuel loses it going up with it. 2-on-1. Brailsford, he tries to slam it home over top of Haney. A lot of contact and obviously a foul going to be called. And Brailsford took a scary tumble down to the stanchion or bottom of the goal there, if you will. And we'll get a look from the baseline.
Coming right at you. And that's a hard foul. I mean, it's hard. The Morehead State bench, they all came up because they thought, well, you know, maybe you need to go look at that. They're not real happy with the hard foul by Isaac Haney. For my money, I mean, it's high wire. Brulsford's up in the air. He's going to go up and jam it. Haney goes up to contest it. You know there's going to be contact there. I really don't think that's really that dirty of a play.
I would not disagree at all. Brailsford will fire one more.
Morehead State is only 4 of 7 from the free throw line. 4 of 8 now. That's an opportunity for improvement.
It's a great way of wording it. You're a wordsmith, because other people, especially Morehead fans, may word it differently.
Trying to be polite.
Little punch out to Haney. Wow, you don't see that one too often as he'll cash it in.
Well, Morehead State better figure out where number 3 is and stay with him, because Ice Haney hitting 45% from his three-point land coming into tonight. Tonight, he's 3 out of 4.
Lead back down to 4 under 1 minute. First half, Johnson Arena from way deep. And those long shots allow for long rebounds and a foul as Morton looks like got tangled up in the leg area with Haney of Austin Peay.
There was a long kicking rebound, which you'll see from a three-point shot, especially a moon ball like Kenny White Jr. hung up there. And nothing dirty there, just going for the basketball, and he just clipped Jerome Morton's legs.
Morton, we mentioned from George Rogers Clark. It's kind of interesting and almost weird to say this. This is the only university he's called home, because we talk about so many transfers, and I am not by no means talking negatively about the transfer portal.
It is what it is.
That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah,
I'll steal that from you.
It is what it is, and it's just the reality we have right now in this day and age. Who knows? But, you know, the guy guarding the ball right here, Trent Scott, you can say the same thing about him.
Nice. Morton will get credit for the steal. He'll get it back from White. A little give and go between the two. What a pretty spin move.
He gave it to Jerome Morton, and Morton really had nowhere to go with it. And Jerome had enough presence of mind to go right back to where it was.
Shot clock turned off here in Johnson Arena. Scott closely guarding Thomas. 4 players with 5 points or more for Morehead State as Thomas. Long twos there.
Pretty.
Will Morehead State get a shot off? Morton will. It's good if it goes, and it's wide left. But my goodness, if you tuned in for the first part of half number 1, took a little break and came back, well.
He's got ice water in his veins. He really can shoot it. And like you said, 3 of 4 now. I would expect Austin Peay to really be looking for him. Morehead State can't forget about where number 3 is on the defensive end.
Austin Peay will spread it out. Rugseger with 6. Brazil, who just got it from Rugseger, had 6 as well. Mentioned Kenny White Jr. right on cue. He had 9.
Yep.
That's going to be a foul. Javar Daniel will pick up the foul coming from behind. That'll be his first.
Good job by Dieonte Miles. He made himself available for the pass. He really got spread out really well, and made the only thing that could happen was Daniel either let him catch it or he's going to foul him.
Rugseger right in front of his teammates. What a rebound. Just a great example of how Emmanuel makes something so difficult look so easy, that rebound. And if you're just tuning in, it's a known fact. He has one arm.
Yeah, I think it's been that way since birth. So, I mean, he's learned. He doesn't know any difference. He just does what he does.
Almost slammed on the alley-oop, but great job by Daniel to really just kind of nudge that into the cylinder.
Well, they're set up by Johnson, beating the on-ball defense and causing that basically a 2-on-1. Morehead State had to come up and flash for help, and that left that backdoor cut.
Lead at 2. It was as many as 13 for the Governors, and then as many as 7 for Morehead State as the pass inside is tipped out of play by Thomas.
Trying to find Kenny White as he was switched over on a match on him. It had a little bit of a matchup advantage with Thomas, I believe it was, and pass just wasn't executed really well.
You see Emmanuel guarding Kenny White Jr. as we have a 30-second timeout taken by Morehead State, and this will be a governor timeout, and we'll just take one as well. Morehead State with the 2-point edge. Early timeout here in half number 2.
Fun fact. The person with McDonald's is always the most popular kid in school. And if they save money with the app, they're also the smartest. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The door-busting sales event's happening now, only at Spitzer Jeep Ram Mansfield and Brook Park.
We're rolling out the red carpet and unleashing Black Friday savings all month long.
Get $14,000 off new Rams or $9,000 off new Jeeps. Plus, get a lifetime warranty and complimentary maintenance that includes oil changes at no additional charge. Hurry, don't miss the Doorbuster sales event. Wag more, spend less at Spitzer Jeep Ram Mansfield and Brook Park.
Our world revolves around you.
What is sport? It's more than fast footwork and pushing through pain. Goes beyond the gym, through city streets onto the stage. Ask yourself, is this sport? Yeah, even that. Sport is everything.
Listen up, hockey fans. NHL on ESPN Plus is back. The hardest hits, the dangles, and of course, the semis.
You gotta be kidding me! It's not real!
Enjoy every second of 1,000+ out-of-market games, exclusive matchups, marquee NHL events, and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
With ESPN Plus, catch live NFL games. Plus,
let's go to the tape.
NFL shows from some of the biggest names in the game and exclusive expert analysis. ESPN Plus equals more football. Stream now.
Morehead State will inbound as Emmanuel slaps that inbound right back out of bounds, and the shot clock is at 1, so that's
got to be reset. It actually started and shouldn't have. But they're not going to have much on it.
Crew Chief Jason Baker turns around and corrects that on with the press row crew.
Well, that's the scorer's table, not press row.
Thank you.
We're over here. And we got 2 on the clock. Still got to go quick.
Slapped out of bounds again, and the shot clock must have some sort of technical difficulty because these are people on the far side who we know run the shot clock regularly. The shot clock operator is Larry Whalen, who's done it many years. Very talented basketball player himself back in high school here at the local high school in Morehead. So
now just 1 on the clock. They got to go.
Yeah, Brazil, he just heaves it up at the buzzer, and well, that doesn't draw anything, and not much Brazil could do except add a missed shot to his stats.
Yeah, you got to give Austin Peay a lot of credit. They did the tough work before the timeout, and they just basically wasted the shot clock for Morehead State, and Eagles didn't have much else to do.
Well, early timeout here in half number 1, and a floater, a little fadeaway floater, if you will, from Thomas.
L.J. Thomas was looking at Chris Fuller, the official right here in front of us now. He was wanting an and 1. A really pretty move by Thomas.
30-30. Sounds like one of my grandfather's hunting rifles. White, they'll work it inside to Miles, and that's just a tough pass. You're asking a lot there of Miles, because not only does the pass have to be perfect, Miles has to have somewhere to come down and have an ability to do something with it.
Well, and he had a defender in front of him, and he also had a defender behind him too. So even if that pass is completed, it's a tall order for Dieonte Miles to be able to do anything with it.
Rue Seger, again under 10 on the shot clock, with Morehead State inbounding under their own bucket.
Now 3 on the clock.
Scott, he's going to take the left-handed floater, draws iron, and a fight for the rebound. Who's going to come away with it? It looks like Thomas.
L.J. Thomas went down there amongst the trees and just ripped it out of there.
3 in transition, clings awkwardly on that back iron. Rebound fell right into the lap of Kenny White Jr. Austin Peay leads this half 4-0, tied 30-30. Scott trying to break the tie.
Oh.
And you heard the reaction from Dean. Oh, and I think everyone had that reaction. Don't see that a lot from Scott.
Now Trent Scott is going to go out, and he is favoring, it looked like his right foot. I don't know if he came down awkwardly.
Scott, that only a second three-point attempt of the season. But you are making a great point that he is definitely in a little bit, well, make that a lot of discomfort. Thomas is fouled, taking it into the painted area. Chris Fuller will march over in front of the scorer's table.
Thank you. We get George Marshall with a foul, and we'll see it right here. George just got beat off on that first step, and he was on his hip the rest of the way.
The 2024 tournament champions and, well, season champion banner is now in the rafters here at Johnson Arena. They hung that about 20 minutes or so pregame. And what's interesting to note, Dean, the Morehead State cheerleaders, they've got so many banners, they decided to just make one banner, and you can actually see where they have to update the number every year. So if the men's basketball program keeps on a run, maybe they'll just have one banner and you just add to it.
Just keep adding years.
There's a student section on both ends, and the one in front of Thomas, well, they're not being quiet. It's not a library, though.
See what Morehead State does with this full court trap press.
And this was something you talked about in the halftime.
And that's what you don't do.
Exactly, trying to find Miles.
One of the things they talked about in the shoot around and the walkthrough today was you beat that with diagonal passing, not straight ahead. You can go maybe one straight ahead if you're really gaining a lot of ground up the floor, but diagonal passes is where you're going to defeat that. That's an offensive foul.
Turnover Austin Peay as George Marshall. I don't know if he was selling it or if that was true, but to me, even without the extra at the end, that looked like an offensive foul, and back to Morehead State it goes.
You see it right there. George moved his feet pretty well, and he may have been a little bit off balance, and that might have been to his benefit because he drew that foul.
Turnover 7-5, Morehead State.
L.J. Thomas was not real thrilled with that call.
Every time you say L.J. Thomas, I think of L.J. Bryan, who was a former Morehead State Eagle.
Yep.
Another big guy as well. Tough leaner off back iron. Good rebound by Daniel as he had Miles charging in. Haney, well, that's uncharted territories. Daniel met at the top, and Miles most likely will get the block, but another extra opportunity and cashed in by Haney. Make that Thomas, excuse me.
Well, third time's a charm for Austin Peay. They got 3 cracks at it before they finally were able to get it to go down, and now there's...
And we have a whistle.
I think we have maybe an injury. Looked like George Marshall had some kind of injury.
What a game. Austin Peay out in front. 8-0 run to start half 2 here in Johnson Arena.
Competitive excellence. Energized fans. Community involvement. Sportsmanship. Student-athlete success in and out of the classroom. That's OVC leadership, and it isn't new to us. We've been doing it for more than 75 years. It's time to OVC it. The Ohio Valley Conference, fiercely independent since 1948.
When you're the leader in disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Let it rain, Randy! Woo! Yes! By being prepared for anything! Woo! Whatever comes your way, there's a
Serve Pro like it never even happened.
He shoots, and he scores!
Are you ready to take your money to new heights? Get a flexible high-yield checking account that lets you customize your interest rate so you can keep your finances headed in the right direction. With Elevate Checking from United Fidelity Bank, you're in control of how much you earn. You can raise your rate with a few easy steps. Get more ways to earn more with Elevate Checking and start earning 4.00% APY. Learn more at unitedfidelity.com/elevate or visit your local banking center.
Back here in Johnson Arena, and Dean, they had to use the replay monitor, but they did it in a timeout. Were they correcting a three-point shot?
Yeah, that last jumper by Thomas down there in the corner, it was marked as a 3 during live action. They went to look at it during the break. I guess his toe, something was on the line. They changed it to a 2, so it's 33-30.
Well, they don't ask how much, just if anything's on that line. As it feels like an NBA game with music playing as Morehead State brings it across the timeline. And they're going to call a kick ball as Haney, I'm assuming, stuck that leg out. I had half of the players between us.
Yeah, we had at least eight of the players between us and seeing that.
I wish they'd pay a little bit more attention to where we are sitting. We're trying to broadcast.
We got stuff going here. Come on.
Trying to let the people know what's going on.
There's a big battle inside there with Miles and Daniel.
Miles, I'd say Coach Maddox probably wishes he would have passed out. That one looked a little forced as Daniel did a nice job.
Daniel did a really good job of forcing Dieonte Miles out a little further than he wanted to be.
So we have had 2 early media timeouts, one of those being the floater, and we're going to have a foul against Morton. And Morton not going to like the call, and these Morehead State fans you can hear don't like the call. And Morton holding the right side of that jaw.
Yeah, he got the worst part of it, but you see it was a reach-in first, contact on the reach-in, and then Morton ran into the screen.
And we're going to have a replay, and here's why. Anytime you have contact up near the head area, you hear it a lot in football, the head and neck area. And watch when we roll this back again, the right hand of the Austin Peay player. And it looks like that right hand maybe comes up and gets, or maybe the elbow possibly, but that's what they're going to be looking at.
That's what they're looking at. And
we'll see here.
I didn't see a whole lot there.
I didn't either, but on that first initial replay, you can see that arm, that right arm specifically, and there we see from that angle.
Well, that was the right arm of the ball handler.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, the ball handler.
I was looking at the screener.
Oh, no, excuse me. We'll watch it one more time. Watch the right hand of the ball handler dribbling with the left hand, and it's almost like a follow-through, if you will. And right there, he gets Morton up right on that right side of the chin with that elbow.
Well, there was a foul called on Jerome Morton first. Now, that doesn't necessarily cut any ice either way. But, you know, just in the sequence of it, they called it on Jerome Morton first.
And it looks like it's just going to be called a wash.
I don't have a problem with that call. I think it was just a basketball play. I don't think that L.J. Thomas did anything really nefarious.
And I was not saying he was. I was just making sure to be clear on what we were watching. And officials say, hey, not enough to warrant anything extra. And Austin Peay with the three-point edge, back with the basketball. Haney to double up the lead.
Ice Haney coming back now, 4 out of 5 from behind the arc, 14 points.
That's good.
That is good.
No other way of putting it. When you're making more threes than you're missing, well, you're doing something right. Slapped down by Daniel. Miles, though, will keep it. He swivels through 2 defenders and will go to the line.
Pretty good job by Dieonte Miles, making a little something out of Morehead State. Was in a bit of a bad spot. But you see right there, he had Daniels pinned down. And has to split a couple defenders.
Good footwork for a big guy. Really does a nice job of keeping those feet under him and not really getting out of control from a body standpoint. Keeps that center of gravity, if I can talk today, under him.
Much improved than what we've seen the last couple of years with Dieonte Miles. He is much improved in his offensive abilities and the way he moves. And that's 3 on Emmanuel, too, so that's something to maybe look at. Keep in mind. Miles on his career is a 46% free throw shooter, but if you just look at his Morehead numbers, he's a 54% free throw shooter, so there is an uptick. Granted, not a whole lot, but an uptick is an uptick. And that's what we see out of Dieonte a lot of times. He'll go to the line for a couple. The first one just really doesn't look good at all. And then the second one, like that one, it was beautiful.
Austin Peay with the lead by as many as 13, 8 minutes into this one. And the missed 3 by Haney. Don't say that too often.
Just twice tonight.
Exactly.
Now 4 of 6.
Stop, pop as he finds some separation. Pretty shot there for Brailsford, who comes in averaging 9.
Tyler Brailsford, the Bryant transfer. Didn't take the 3, just got that nice mid-range jumper. The Austin Peay Govs, they had a man on him, but they jumped off of him in the rotation, and he made him pay.
36-33. Governors, Eagles. Governors push it to 5.
It's a really nice move by L.J. Thomas. Went right up into the big man, got it up over him, put it up in very nice order.
Leads the Governors in points, rebounds, assists, field goals, minutes. And I'm not sure about the laundry stats, but he does a little bit of everything. He may do that too.
He probably cooks the pregame meal. And Trent Scott is down on the floor. I saw him, and we talked about him. He went out earlier, and he had one of those massage guns. And he was really going after like his lower right thigh. And now he's in some obvious discomfort. Training staff is making their way over with Teague Palmatier.
Trent Scott, originally from Tampa, Florida, where he grew up, as we can see in the left side of your screen. Scott there in double ones, 11, and you can see already in discomfort.
He's motioning that he's not. It looks like he's maybe cramping up. I'm not sure. So now
need a banana then, right? And the potassium, a great
pickle juice.
Oh no, get out of here with that. I know that's a cure, but
It works.
I'd rather cramp.
It does work.
Oh, wow, you must be right, because Trent Scott, he's a grinder. He's a fighter, and we've seen him in his young career battle through some adversity, and here, I mean, that's got to be painful.
Stephen Clay, and I can't see who's on the other side, are carrying him. Looks like, and that's Seth Markham, the strength and training coach, and they're going to take him back and carry him back to the training room.
They'll work it into Miles. Now Rugseger under 10 on the shot clock, and a foul as Rugseger lost it, but they're going to say he got some help by Javar Daniel.
Javar Daniel just got his hand in the cookie jar a little bit. You're going to see it right there as they double down, get the ball out of Miles' hand, and then Daniel couldn't help it, just tried to scrape it away.
And another time that Emmanuel tips the inbounds, and he'll take it from coast to coast. Watch out. Oh, my gosh.
Well, Morehead State had a couple players back there, but nobody turned around to see the ball handler coming right down the middle of the floor.
2 times he swatted the inbound pass away. I guess 3rd time's a charm, and, well, that's an exclamation point on the other end, and the lead at 7. Extra pass to Morton, the lefty from straight away.
Good box out by L.J. Thomas on Dieonte Miles.
Thomas will cut back, get some space, little leaner again, finds nothing but the twine.
It was a nice run for Austin Peay right now. 5 of their last 6 field goals they've made. So Morehead State's going to have to buckle down on the defensive end. They really need a score.
Thomas with 18, Haney with 14. Make that Thomas with 20, I beg your pardon. Morton will penetrate and find Rugseger. Morehead State needs a bucket desperately, and they find it from Morton on the extra opportunity. Governor lead sits at 7, approaching 12 minutes left here in half number 2. As Emmanuel from coast to coast with the slam.
Fun fact: the person with McDonald's is always the most popular kid in school. And if they save money with the app, they're also the smartest. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The door-busting sales event's happening now, only at Spitzer Jeep Ram Mansfield and Brook Park.
We're rolling out the red carpet and unleashing Black Friday savings all month long.
Get $14,000 off new Rams or $9,000 off new Jeeps. Plus, get a lifetime warranty and complimentary maintenance that includes oil changes at no additional charge. Hurry, don't miss the Doorbuster sales event. Wag more, spend less at Spitzer Jeep Ram Mansfield and Brook Park.
Our world revolves around you.
What is sport? It's more than fast footwork and pushing through pain. Goes beyond the gym. Through city streets, onto the stage. Ask yourself, is this sport? Yeah, even that. Sport is everything.
Listen up, hockey fans. NHL on ESPN Plus is back. The hardest hits, the dangles, and of course, the semis.
You gotta be kidding me! It's not real!
Enjoy every second of 1,000+ out-of-market games, exclusive matchups, marquee NHL events, and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
With ESPN Plus, catch live NFL games. Plus, let's go to the tape. NFL shows from some of the biggest names in the game and exclusive expert analysis. ESPN Plus equals more football. Stream now.
Don't know what it is about the start of the first half and start of the second half, but either way, Austin Peay, that seems to be their key point. And this was the moment in the first half. This moment being about 7-8 minutes in, Austin Peay led by as many as 13. Now they lead by a seven. So interesting to see kind of how Morehead State.
It's been a tough start for Morehead State. 22%, 2 of 9 from the floor to start this second half. They've been outscored now 16-5.
Pressure from Morehead State now, as we've seen Austin Peay throw that out since, well, early in the first half. Thomas finds Daniel right beside him. He could have handed it off, cashed in by Daniel.
Pretty nice job by L.J. Thomas to draw some attention to the defense, just pass it over to his big man about 8 foot out in the lane.
Austin Peay in that zone defense.
That's not a zone, that's a pack line.
Morton, the lefty, will take it into the painted area. Nice little turnaround.
Jerome Morton, that's his strength, is driving, slashing. That mid-range and short-range jumper is his strength. Now he's being asked to guard on L.J. Johnson.
Thomas, and that's a tough ask.
L.J. Thomas.
L.J. Thomas, L.J. Bryan, we've had to say a handful, but tonight it's been Thomas as he'll give it off, and now Lax ends up with it, and Lax will go to the free throw line. Lax above 85% on the year. We'll have to earn him the hard way.
And they're going to get Dieonte Miles with that as he came over in a help position. Just the first foul on the big man. That's another thing he's really improved on is his defense. Last year, he was in foul trouble a whole lot. This year, much better.
Some custodial duties having to take place. Been a lot of moisture outside here in the eastern Kentucky area, and boy, did it get cold today.
Yeah, it dropped huge from this morning to this evening.
Lax knocks down the first. We mentioned a good free
over
throws.
20 degrees.
Oh, whew. You're going to go get my car and warm it up for me and bring it up to the front?
Oh, yes, sir. I'll get it washed, too.
Lax knocked them both down. Was a NAIA champion, first team All-American from Freed Hardeman. Talked about that in the first half. A lot of experience now on the D1 level. And getting it here in a non-conference matchup. Former OVC team Austin Peay versus still and current OVC team Morehead State. Miles turnaround, right-handed hook shot.
Jerome Morton hit him with a fastball. And I think it might have touched his hands, but it definitely got him in the gut. And then it luckily bounced right there, and he was able to take care of it.
Morehead State's made 3 in a row. Austin Peay's made 4 in a row. And Manuel loses it, thankfully, for the Governors, right to his teammate. Lax will work it inside again. Defense was textbook by Brailsford, and he gets the rebound.
Sure was. Brailsford stayed right with him, and then when the ball went up, did a pretty good box out job, too.
Midway through half number 2. The Governors have outscored the Eagles 20-9 here in half number 2 as Kenny White Jr. too hard off the back of the iron.
Oh, and if Kenny White Jr. follows that instead of fading away after, he's really got a good shot at getting that rebound, second chance.
Thomas on Morton is going to be fouled, and Morton with those palms up. He thought it was offensive or should have been no call.
And Johnny Maddox was asking for a push-off. He's not going to get it. We'll see right here. Definitely not a push-off.
Morton gets that upper body in for the foul. 4 fouls each way now. 3 fouls on Austin Peay's Emmanuel. 3 on Morton now, as Miles will pick up the foul a good 28 feet away from the bucket.
Yeah, that's what we would see the last couple of years from Dieonte Miles, just the foul that didn't really need it. You can see right there, he just hooked him a little bit.
Jaden Webb out of Memphis, Tennessee, played at one of my favorite community colleges just because of its awesome name, Itawamba Community College down in Mississippi. Thomas blocked by the bottom of the backboard, had to alter a shot with Morton right in his grill. Kenny White Jr. with the penetration off the glass, and he'll go to the line for 1 as Dieonte Miles and others give him love on the bench.
And it was a pretty good seal-off block by Jalen Webb right here. You'll see Webb just sealed him a little bit, just enough to get Daniels a half a step late.
Austin Peay's Darius Dawson played at Missouri Southern before making his way to Clarksville. Will replace Daniel. Daniel now with 3 fouls while he's catching a breather. And at the line for just 1 free throw will be Kenny White Jr., who is 1 of 1, now 2 of 2. I see you're making a note of that play right there. We'll see if that
turns out to be big.
Yeah. Little space for Lax, who thought about the 3 briefly. Now Haney. Haney has, Haney had the separation, but Dean, how did he get that separation?
Well, he got the separation because Darius Dawson set a screen, and basically he just grabbed the defender and would not let him get out there.
We'll see right here. It's exactly what Dean's talking about.
As whoever was trying to pop out, that was Brailsford, and just would not let him come out. A really good call by the officiating crew.
Jason Baker, Kyle Bottoms, Chris Fuller are 3 officials.
I think they've had a pretty good night tonight so far.
It's not just early season for teams. It's early season for officials too. White somehow gets his own rebound. He tried to throw it off a player. Unfortunately, the only player he could throw it off of was Webb.
Well, he did.
Well, good point. He did throw it off of another player.
He just had a white jersey instead of red jersey.
Yeah. I love when teams are just 2 distinctly opposite colors like this. There is no issue at all telling these 2 apart. And I guess it's probably my bias from football, where it's very difficult to tell numbers sometimes. But
and that's by design, too. That's why they have rules and saying what you can and can't wear.
And it's different from football. Home teams in football wear the dark colored jerseys, whereas in basketball, the home team wears a white or lighter colored jersey.
And the NBA is the exact opposite. Home team wears dark.
Or
and I hate that.
Yeah, and every now and then they'll throw one of, like, the Heat have those Miami Vice uniforms, which you never know what kind of color, you know, neon pink and yellow.
Right.
As Haney will go to the line and shoot a couple free throws. Foul was on Rugseger, his second. The lead sits at 4. And if we hear a player miss the first of 2 free throws, Dean, we're going to hear the student section gets very loud. And, well, it's because there's chicken wings on the line. And you know what happens when you taunt or offer chicken wings to college students? Well, you'll get them to get loud or do anything for that matter.
Now, Haney's a really good free throw shooter, right at 90%. He goes 1 for 2 on that trip.
Lead back at 5.
But yeah, the chicken wing thing you're referencing, if a player comes up and misses 2 in a row, then if you have a ticket or whatever, you can get free wings from B-Dubs, and that's a circus shot for Kenny White Jr.
I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't know how to describe that. He threw it up and it went in. How's that sound?
Prayer answered.
Yeah. Lead trimmed to 3 as Morehead State battling back in this one. They've been outscored by 8 here in half number 2. Emmanuel playing with 3 fouls, in some trouble, loses it as he goes up with it, and it's going to be off of Morehead State.
Kenny White Jr. got a hand on it.
4 on the shot clock, though, and it'll be Governors basketball as they lead by 3. A good one here on ESPN+. Just 4 on the shot clock as Austin Peay will inbound. So it goes without saying they got to make a decision quickly, and I'm sure something was drawn up in the timeout.
Yeah, I would say so. Morehead State really started out slowly, 2 of 9 to start this half. They're now 6 of 15. They've made 5 of the last 7 to get right back in this.
Daniel will be the inbound quickly back to Thomas. Good play drawn up. Shot just wouldn't fall.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect shot. I mean, it just wouldn't go down for him. But drawn up just the way Corey Gibson and his staff wanted it to go.
Kenny White Jr. again will penetrate.
Let's see if he tries to play some bully ball. Goes up against 2 players.
Finds another 2. He's got 16, and that's an efficient 16 on 7 of 12 from the field.
Yeah, Kenny White Jr., he's bigger than most guards in this league, and also in the A-Sun where Austin Peay now resides, and he's able to use that size to his advantage.
Morehead State has held Austin Peay without a field goal until that point right there for over 4.5 minutes.
Well, L.J. Thomas just beat George Marshall on the bounce. He spelled doom for the Eagles on that trip.
Kenny White Jr. obviously a focus of this offense. Finds Marshall. Marshall is going to be called for the travel, and that was very, very solid defense by Daniel. Didn't see what he could have done wrong there to warrant a foul.
He did do nothing wrong. And you see he just walled it up right there and did a great job defensively.
That was textbook defense, and now 10 turnovers.
We talked about that. One of our keys to the game was the turnover battle. 10 from Morehead State, just 6 for Austin Peay. That'll get it done. I'm seeing Kerry Gibson. If you'd have told him before the game, a little over 6 minutes ago, and you got 6 turnovers, you take that? Yeah, he would.
Haney thought about going baseline. Now takes it to the free throw line. Spin move, swatted away, but contact and a foul called by Chris Fuller.
I believe they're going to get Dieonte Miles coming over helping, as Haney did a really good job. You'll see it right there, just a nice little spin and drop step on Rucksager and Dieonte Miles with that 3rd foul, right?
That'll be 3 on the big guy, Miles. Haney cashes in the first.
Haney now 4 of 5 from the line, and that'll actually hurt his percentage.
Were you a good free throw shooter back in your day?
That was okay.
That wasn't anything special.
Around between 75 and 80%.
I don't think I ever played at a level where they kept numbers and percentages. So.
I barely did.
I'm just used to counting golf shots, and it's been a lot recently.
Well, don't get me started. I need an abacus.
For the lead for the Governors, Morehead State under 5 on the shot clock, and wow, Daniel looks like a defensive back snagging the pass, like an interception.
That's just, there's nothing to there, and Jerome Morton just made a mistake trying to force something that wasn't there. There's still plenty of time on the shot clock.
Haney loses it briefly, gets that Morehead State student section in that corner riled up. Haney still with his back to the bucket. Haney, he'll go all the way into the paint, and wow. He can do it from behind the arc, and well, with 2 big men in between him and the rim.
Well, he really tried to bully up on Jerome Morton. Morton stood his ground really well, and just got to give him tip of the hat.
And a block on the 3-point attempt. That one will go to Daniel. Those are some long arms, and when you add his ability to jump, it is tough. And, I mean, look where he comes from here.
And he came from a long way. He saw what was happening. Good job by him for recognizing what was going on in front of him. And like you said, he came a long way, and he really extended.
Brailsford thought about a deep 3. Now we'll go to Morton again, deep into the possession for Morehead State. Miles, right-handed finish.
Really nice job. Good job by the offense and Morton to see that Dieonte Miles had presented himself with the basketball. He had Daniel sealed behind him, and then as soon as he got it, no hesitation, just go to work.
Thomas spins baseline. He's amongst the trees and tries to find Daniel. He can't. Brailsford finds Morton, and Morton will have it swatted away. But Kyle Bottoms, the closest official to our left, immediately calls goaltending, and the lead trimmed to 2.
Yeah, and so some people that see this in a high school game, that's legal because the ball's still going up. College and professional basketball, as soon as it hits the glass, you can't touch it.
Lax met at the timeline by Brailsford as we approach 4 minutes, and some of these Morehead State fans outside the student section coming to their feet as well. 10 on the shot clock. Thomas finds Lax. Thomas again, he almost loses it, somehow maintains possession, and Morehead State with a chance to tie or take the lead. Miles slams it home, and we're tied.
Got to give Jerome Morton a ton of credit on the other end. He really defended Thomas well, and that started to break going the other way.
What a pass, what a finish, and now just about all of these Morehead State fans are coming to their feet. Haney will take it to the baseline. We saw him come away with some magic earlier. Now Emmanuel from behind the arc. Brailsford will come away with the rebound. Morehead State last led at 30-28. A bucket here would give them the lead again. Miles going to work and uses that glass to perfection under 3 minutes.
Dieonte Miles has really come alive down the stretch. Corey Gibson doesn't like what he's seeing. He's going to get a timeout.
Timeout here in Johnson Arena. And I don't know if we've heard this Johnson Arena crowd this loud all year as Miles ties it up, and now the Eagles lead by 2 here on ESPN+.
When you're the leader in disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen?
Fire it up, Randy. By being prepared for anything.
Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
Support your school with the German-American School Spirit Check Card. With each purchase you make using the card, we make a donation to your participating school of choice. Stop in your local German-American bank office, open a checking account, and request your free School Spirit Check Card today. Visit GermanAmerican.com for a list of participating schools. German American Bank, member FDIC.
Competitive excellence, energized fans, community involvement, sportsmanship, student-athlete success in and out of the classroom. That's OVC leadership, and it isn't new to us. We've been doing it for more than 75 years. It's time to OVC it. The Ohio Valley Conference, fiercely independent since 1948.
Well, the first half and second half almost identical. Started out with Austin Peay going on a great run, got out to a 17-4 lead. Here in half number 2, they got a lead out near double digits again, but Dean, Morehead State has battled back an 8-0 run, and they lead by 2.
And if you remember, Kenny White Jr. hit a driving layup at the 9:15 mark, and it was the front end of a three-point play because he made the free throw. That made it 46-42 Austin Peay. Since then, in the next 6.5 minutes or so, Morehead State's gone on a 14-6 run.
It's been a three-pony show for the Governors, 22 for Thomas, 18 for Haney, 8 for Daniel, 2 apiece for Lax and Emmanuel. And with that, Lax 0 of 5 and Manuel 1 of 4. And it's going to be interesting to see how Austin Peay may change things up, where it's, like I said, identical to half number 1, where Morehead State has answered back the Austin Peay run.
Well, Morehead State has done a really good job. The last 4 from the field, a couple of them were flushes. They were really close in. We'll see what Morehead State can do. Have to maintain the defensive intensity.
That was a timeout taken by Austin Peay that was rolled into a media timeout.
That's a
foul going to be called by the crew chief, Jason Baker, beside the Austin Peay bench.
Boy, we had a really good look through the keyhole and we'll see it right here.
Brailsford.
Watch Haney. He really battled, and that was right before that. He really stuck a forearm and a shoulder into Brailsford's gut.
That is the 8th foul. So the 1+1 upcoming for Haney. Already been to the line 6 times, walked away with 4 makes on those 6 attempts. He's now got 19. This next one will give him 20 and will tie us up again. And this would be the 5th tie of the ball game, and we are. Well, couldn't ask for much more, Dean.
If you paid to get your money, if you paid to get in here, you certainly got your money's worth.
Or the ESPN Plus subscription. This game may be worth the whole month right here. Brels make that rather Brazil from Brailsford. We'll try that alley-oop. Miles wisely comes down with it and is going to be fouled as he goes up with that left hand.
That's I don't think that's the way Johnny Maddox and the staff drew it up, but it may just work out for Morehead State. So they tried to do the lob, and Haney was there. They had gotten it switched off on exchange. I get the idea, but that was a tough get.
Miles at the line where he's 1 of 2 in double figures with 11 points and 4 rebounds to add to that. Morehead State, they've made their last 4 attempts from the field, and Austin Peay, they've gone over 3 minutes without a field goal attempt going through the cylinder. Have had a few free throws sprinkled in. Miles, though, can push the lead to 2. Nobody in this contest with 4 fouls. Want to make sure we note that as the lead goes to 2. Morehead State now will apply pressure. The first matchup back in 1964. The spark, the flame rekindled here in Johnson Arena yet again. Former OVC foe, the Governors of Austin Peay, trailing by 2 with 7 on the shot clock. Nice finish to tie it up inside by Darius Dawson.
It was a very nice move by Darius Dawson as Haney got switched off, or Dieonte Miles got switched off on Haney. Haney started to go down low, thought better of that, brought it up top, and then he inverted the offense.
Brailsford, little hesitation at the elbow, is going to be fouled as he goes baseline, as Kyle Bottoms is going to tack that one on Darius Dawson. And now we will have free throws for Morehead State.
I think Brailsford may be lucky that he didn't get a hook call.
I think you're spot on there. I think that was one where if you're Brailsford, you just say, oh, okay, sounds good. We'll go to the free throw line.
Let's take it to the line. We'll take our chances.
Brailsford takes his time. Misses the front end of the 1+1. We stay tied at 56 under 90 seconds.
His first miss of the year from the free throw line. He's now 10 of 11.
Not an ideal time whatsoever. Maybe the most obvious statement I say all night. Haney, some space. Off the backboard, and it will go over the backboard. And that will be out of bounds. Back to Morehead State it goes. So the front end of the free throw missed for Morehead State, and an early shot attempt for Austin Peay goes awry. Brookshire to the bench, and Manuel back on.
Well, Haney, that shot looked awfully good for a long time, just wouldn't go down. Interesting that Austin Peay abandoned the press. Now they're going with like a half court. They may be trapping out of it. Nope.
Brazil over to Morton, right in front of first-year head coach Jonathan Maddox. Under a minute here in Johnson Arena. Kenny White Jr., tough floaters there.
Kenny White Jr. just took it upon himself that time and said, I'm going to go get one for us.
Morehead State has made 5 straight field goal attempts. Trying to answer back is Thomas. He can't, and the rebound down to Morehead State with a 10-second difference between shot clock and game clock.
I think that's the first bad shot I've seen Thomas take tonight.
And a foul. That will be team foul number 9 for Austin Peay. So this will be the 1+1. And we are going to have a timeout, possibly. Austin Peay's treating it like a media timeout, and I have no idea why, because we've ran through our media timeouts.
Yeah, we're done with those. We don't have to do those anymore.
Hey, kudos to the managers of Austin Peay. They had those chairs out, ready and locked and loaded.
I mean, right now.
But just as quickly as they get them on, we've got to take them off because we've got huge, huge free throws here.
Yeah, these are 2 big free throws here.
And Manuel and Brookshire will swap again along with Daniel and Dawson. Dawson and Manuel, the ones going to the bench, to be clear. 5 straight field goals made for Morehead State, but these free throws are the big one right here, and the first one is good. He's a good free throw shooter, but it's a whole different thing when you've got the nerves of a close ball game in the final minute. Four-point game. Brazil does his job.
Now Morehead State coming with some token pressure, just trying to basically burn some clock.
Thomas is going to take it himself all the way under the bucket. Brookshire thought about the three, gives back quickly to Thomas. Just a second different shot clock, game clock. Tipped away by Kenny White Jr. and Morton will have it.
Huge play by Kenny White Jr.
Brazil almost walks with it, but is fouled. And with 12.2 seconds left, Morehead State will go to the free throw line again. Let's take a quick look at our upcoming schedules presented by Sunbelt Bakery, the tastiest flavors under the sun. And for Austin Peay, they're back in Clarksville for 2-game stretch against Georgia State and Texas Arlington. Back on the road against East Tennessee State and Samford, for Morehead State. Back on the road for a 4-game stretch. NJIT, Cleveland State, just down the road across the border into West Virginia, and then Ohio back at home against KCU in December. A 5-point game with one more free throw upcoming.
They missed that one, but there's been some clutch free throws down the stretch for Morehead State.
And that also eats a little bit of clock off. Lax will take it inside and finish. Timeout called with 4.1, and the lead sits at 3 for Morehead State.
Not done yet?
Not over at all. And that will be a full timeout. Either way, though, we are going to keep it right here, and Morehead State, you know, it's been, I can't tell you the last time they missed a field goal. They've still made 5 straight, but it is the free throw line, Dean, that you talked about, and both teams shooting 7 of 10 this half from the free throw line, but Morehead State, they've had a lot more pressure on theirs in these waning moments.
Yeah, they've been big free throws, and we talked about it in halftime. Morehead State was only 4 of 9 from the line in the first half. This half, they've done a much better job. They've done a much better job shooting, too. 12 of 22 in this half, 55%. By the way, Austin Peay, no slouches, 12 of 23 for 52%. This second half has been a lot of fun to watch. When the basketball is being played at a level like this, where the shots are going down, kids are making really neat shots and fun shots, there's just not much better to watch.
And we talked about the upcoming schedules. Look at who Morehead State has played, and when you look at the record, you see 1 and 3. Oh, okay, well, not a good year. Well, they have played at Louisville, at a top 25 team in Cincinnati, and at a very, very good Chattanooga team as well.
Yeah, Chattanooga in the preseason coaches poll in the SoCon, they were picked 3rd or 4th. This Austin Peay club was picked 2nd in the ASUN. In the coaches poll, they were picked 3rd in the media poll for the ASUN. So quality ball clubs, I like when Morehead State plays these what we call like opponents, other mid-majors like an Austin Peay, like a Chattanooga, East Tennessee, even Marshall. That way you get to have a pretty good barometer where you are.
Morton can run the baseline, and for Morehead State, the key is get it inbounds. They do to Brazil, and he will have 2 free throws, regardless of what happens on the first, as now 10+ fouls for the Governors. I think the win that really turned heads in Austin Peay was getting high praise before the season, but when the Governors went to Butler and won 68-66, that's when I think a lot of national folks looked and said, okay, this is a team that's something to watch.
This is a good team, and they're going to be a good team. I mean, they went 19 wins last year, and Corey Gibson's first year. Didn't really get a chance to talk about it much during our broadcast. The year before Corey Gibson shows up, they had 9 wins in Clarksville. So he's a really good coach. He's got a lot going on down there with the Governors. But, yeah, that win against Butler, it was an interesting to go back and watch it after listening to some of the coaches talking, before Morehead State coaches talking in their scouts. And they did a really good job, and they deserved all the attention they got for the win up in Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Austin Peay will inbound with 3 seconds left. Haney will get it and fire a 3-pointer at the buzzer that won't fall, and Morehead State They trailed 17-4, trailed by nearly double digits midway through